Hello, everyone, and welcome to this latest edition of Bingo Live. Themed
Themed Bingo Live. So, as you can see, we're playing Trigo or TPgo. Tree Bingo.
Tree Bingo.
So, I don't think we've played this one on YouTube before, have we?
No, this is actually the first time.
Yeah, I don't think we've done many live ones of this at all.
No, I guess.
I think it is one of the slightly harder ones for
Yeah.
some of our members just because they are trees and some of the images are similar. You just have to do a bit more reading on this one. But we do like this one. It's very factual.
Yeah. Personally, I think this is my favorite one.
Oh,
just because trees are quite fascinating.
They are. There's all sorts of trees around the world. So you have your collection of mascots there today. And Benny Beanie in camouflage there, hiding. He's dressed as a tree.
It is.
So, as always, if you're at Heathlands, you can get a game sheet from member staff to task. If you're not at Heathlands and you're somewhere else away, you can purchase these games in most good game stores and bookstores, and then watch it later date, play along. Yeah, we tend to, once we've gone through all our bingos, we'll recirculate. So once you've got it, you've always got it, so you can play it whenever you want.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Should we get started?
Yeah, let's get started.
Game view. Right, go on then. How long do you think it's going to take us to do?
If we can get this done in about 45, 50 minutes.
Oh, right. We'll try. See what we can do.
As always, we're going to do a round of 5, and then when we get to the end of each round, we can have a
recap.
A recap.
Sorry, everyone at heard home that I just turned it down for us because we were echoing slightly.
And we'll keep going until you've got a line, and then eventually a house.
And we've got the comments on as well, so if anyone's watching and would like to comment, you're welcome to. But you don't have to.
Okay, so the first one of the first round is the wild apple tree.
A wild apple. So, the original ancestor of most modern apple trees, with wild apple, is native to most slopes of Kazakhstan. It is a deciduous tree, up to 12 meters, 40 feet tall, with fruits of a similar size and color to the domestic apple. The wild apple.
The wild apple. Of course, it's got the apples next to it.
It has. I bet they're quite sour wild apples. Like a crab apple, maybe.
Next up, famous at Christmas time, the holly tree.
One of the most recognizable evergreen trees at Christmas, when the prickly leaf branches and red berry fruits from female trees are used for festive decorations. Many ornamental forms are grown in the garden for the berries and leaves and as popular hedging plants. Yeah, so make hedges out of them. And you wouldn't want to climb through one of them.
No, you do not. The holly tree. Next up is the Scots pine.
Scots pine. The Scots pine is one of only 3 native British evergreen conifers, easily identified by its flaking red bark and pairs of short blue-green needles. The Scots pine.
The Scots pine. So, got this method. Don't need that.
I was keeping the facts short and sweet, and I said we're going to get it in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You do get quite a lot of facts on these ones. I think it would be for 2 hours or more.
Alright, so next up is the ash tree.
The ash is a large deciduous tree up to 40 meters tall, with Pinnate leaves produced from opposite black buds and fruits known as ash keys. There you go. Black buds and fruits known as ash keys. Didn't know that.
The ash tree. Also, if you know any trees that are very common around here at Heathlands, you let us know.
Have we got an ash tree? We might have an ash tree. Yeah.
So anyway, next up, last one of this round, is the date palm.
The date palm. Botanically, this is not a true tree, but it produces enough strength in its trunk to stand upright and make an iconic plant around 20 meters tall. They have been cultivated in the Middle East for thousands of years for their edible sweet fruits called dates. The date palm, which isn't a tree.
The
Why is it in
date
tree bingo?
palm. So that's the end of this round. So can we have a
Recap.
recap? So first up was the wild apple.
It was.
Then we had the holly tree.
Yeah. Perfect Christmas tree. Only the females get berries.
Then we had the Scots pine.
Yeah, known for its needles.
Then we had the ash tree.
So blackberries, did it say?
Think it did. And then finally, the date palm.
Which isn't actually a tree.
Trend. So now moving on to round number 2.
So we're not doing very well. It took us 7 minutes to do the first round.
Oh no. No. Okay. Don't worry, we'll get through this. So first up is the tupelo.
Tupelo. Tupelo. Commonly found in wet woodlands and in swamps, the tupelo is native to the southeastern United States, often planted as an ornamental tree in parks and large gardens. The tupelo.
The tupelo. Next up is the duren.
The duren.
Duren.
The duren are large evergreen trees reaching 45 meters in height. Native to Indonesia and Malaysia. They flower at night, mainly pollinated by bats. Within 14 weeks, they produce fully ripe fruit with an overwhelming smell to attract feeding animals. Wow, the duren tree.
The duren tree. Next up is the shagbark hickory.
The shagbark hickory, okay. The common name of this North American deciduous tree comes from the shaggy bark on the mature trunks, which is one of its easy recognizable features. The shaggy bark hickory.
Next up is very purple tree, the wisteria.
Wisteria.
The wisteria.
This is a woody climbing plant that would need a tree to cling to. In its native forests in China, it can reach a height of 30 meters. By twining itself and its stems anti-clockwise in circulation, in cultivation, it is prized for its white, violet, or blue pea-like raceme flowers. Wisteria. We've got a couple of wisterias, but they haven't got any flowers on. They're just green at the moment.
Oh. And then the last one of this round is the tulip.
Tulip. This fast-growing deciduous tree grows up to 50 meters tall. From North America, it is one of 2 species found in the world. The tulip tree.
The tulip tree. So that's the last one of this round. So can we have a
Recap.
First up was the tupelo.
Below. Found in wet woodlands and swamps.
Then we had the durian.
A smelly fruit to attract animals.
Ew. Then we had the shagbark hickory.
Known for its shaggy bark. What's what it said in the book?
I know. I'm just leaving it at that. Then we had the wisteria.
With its purple flowers.
And then finally, the tulip.
Tulip. A fast-growing deciduous tree.
So now moving on to round 3.
That one took 4 minutes. So it's speeding up a little.
Are you just going to keep counting rounds?
No, I wouldn't do anything like that.
Yeah. So now, first one of this round is the traveler's palm.
The traveller's palm. Good name. This is Madagascar's iconic tree. Referred to as a palm, reaching 50 meters tall and resembling a huge fan with leaves of up to 3 meters. 3-meter leaves, wow.
Wow. The traveler's palm. Next up is the candelabra.
Candelabra. Native to the dry areas and semi-savannas of Southern America, the succulent candelabra tree can withstand long periods of drought and reach a height of 12 meters. With a balloon-shaped crown, the milky latex sap that is produced is extremely poisonous. Ooh. It does kind of look like a bit like a candelabra. Candelabra.
The candelabra. Next up is common tree, the chestnut.
This large, deciduous, broad-leaved tree native to Macedonia grows up to 20 meters, 25 meters, with a wide-spreading round crown. It is popular in parks, gardens, and especially in spring when cream-coloured candle-like flowers appear. Ooh,
Yeah, it's
the chestnut
true.
tree.
The chestnut. Next up is the field maple.
Field maple. The field maple is common in hedgerows and woodlands of Britain and most of Europe. It is a medium-sized deciduous tree of up to 25 meters in height, with fine, vertically flourished brown, dark, and slender, smooth winter twigs that turn corky as it ages. Wow, that was a mouthful. The field maple.
The field maple, probably one of my favourite looking leaves.
Yeah, it's a nice one, isn't it? I do like the chestnut leaf.
Yeah, I do too. Next up, which is the last one, the frankincense.
Native to the Arabian Peninsula and the mountains of northern Somalia. This small deciduous tree that reaches heights of up to 8 meters is the main source of the aromatic resin frankincense. There you go. given to the baby Jesus.
But
Gold,
not
frankincense, and myrrh.
the whole tree.
No, just the frankincense.
So that's the end of this round. So can we have a
Recap.
first up was the Traveller's Palm,
3-meter leaves.
big leaves. Then we had the Candelabra,
Looks like a candelabra.
then we had the chestnut tree,
Has yellow flowers in the spring.
then we had the field maple,
Popular in hedgerows of Britain.
sorry, I lost my F. Where's my F?
It's before G and after D.
Oh, here it is. It was right under my nose. And then finally the frankincense,
As given to the baby Jesus.
but not the whole tree.
Oh. If you gave him a tree, you could have frankincense for life.
Anyways, moving on to round 4. And first up is the sweet gum.
Sweet gum. The North American tree's name comes from the Latin liquidus, meaning fluid, and the Arabic amber, meaning amber. After the sweet gum resin that excretes from the bark when it is damaged. It gives off a resin, basically. Sweet gum resin.
Sweet gum. Next up is the Grand Didier's Baobab.
The largest tree in the world by volume is a giant redwood called... Oh, no, I'm reading the wrong one here. It's not a redwood, is it? The Grenadier's Baobab is the largest and most imposing of the 6 baobab trees that are endemic to the island of Madagascar. They are a large deciduous tree with a massive cylindrical-like trunk. The Grenadier's Baobab.
Grenadier's Baobab. Oh, drop a tree. Next up is Hawthorn's tree.
Hawthorn. The hawthorn is commonly found in hedgerows, woodlands, and scrub native to Western Asia, Europe, and the British Isles. This small, dense, deciduous tree grows to a height of 15 meters, with a single trunk of several twist stems covered in thorns, making it the perfect livestock-proof hedging plant. The hawthorn.
The hawthorn. Next up is the silver birch.
Now, we've definitely got a few of them at Heathlands. The silver birch, the lady of the woods, is one of the most graceful medium-sized European trees, with silver-white trunks and branches that hang down at the tips. It often grows symbiotically with Britain's most recognisable poisonous toadstools, the flying garrick. There you go.
The silver birch. And then the final one of this round, we have the Woollemese pine.
The Woollemese pine. Thought to have been extinct over 2 million years ago, this impressive conifer, related to the monkey puzzle and reaching heights of 40 meters, was discovered in 1994 in a deep canyon in the Blue Mountains of the New South Wales, Australia. It is named for the Woolliam National Park, where it was found. The Woolliam pine.
So that's the end of this round. So can we have a
Recap.
first up was the sweet gum.
which has a gum-like sap.
Then we have the Grenadiers
Baobab.
Baobab.
This is a tall cylindrical trunk.
Then we have the Hawthorn.
Good for hedgerows.
Then we had the Silverbuck.
Grows symbiotically with toadstools, known as flying garricks.
And then finally, the Woolly Pine.
Woolly pine, thought to be extinct for, was it 2 million years? And then found in 1994.
So now moving on to round 5. And the first one is the cedar tree.
Cedar.
The cedar tree.
Cedar. This spreading evergreen conifer can grow up to 40 meters in height. It has a large main trunk with a distinctive horizontal layered branches system and can be found in the mountains of Lebanon, Syria and Turkey. Lebanon, Syria and Turkey, sorry. The cedar.
The cedar.
Yeah, because you get cedar wood drastics, don't you? Have that kind of tangy smell.
Next up is the juniper.
The juniper tree. Juniper is a small, slow-growing evergreen conifer tree that can reach heights of up to 10 meters, but often grows at a low spreading as a low spreading shrub, as in across the ground. Yeah, they grow high up in the trees, and the berries are used for gin.
Oh,
They're a protected species in the UK. You get in a lot of trouble if you cut one down.
the juniper. And next up is the alder tree.
An alder tree. This common deciduous broadleaf tree naturally grows in Europe in most ground near rivers and ponds and grows up to 30 meters tall. The alder tree.
The alder tree. Next up is the blue quandong.
Blue quandong. The blue quandong is a fast-growing evergreen tree that grows up to 40 meters in height, with large buttress roots, and can be found in forests in India and northern Australia. The blue quandong.
The blue quandong. Now the last one of this round is the basswood.
Basswood. This long-lived deciduous tree grows up to 40 meters with a conical round crown. It is native to eastern Northern America, from Canada to South Carolina.
The basswood. So that's the end of this round. So can we have a
Recap.
first up was the cedar.
Cedarwood has a nice smell.
Cedarwood. Then we had the juniper.
That's what you make gin out of.
Yeah, there it is. Then we had the alder tree.
Common in Britain, near rivers.
Then we had the blue
Quandong.
quandong.
It grows in India and Australia.
And then finally, the basswood.
The basswood tree. Grows 40 meters tall.
So now moving on to round 6. And the first one is the spruce
Tree. This evergreen conifer tree can quickly grow up to 50 meters in a pyramidal shape with short, dark green needles and pale brown cones that hang from the branches. The spruce tree.
Next up is the maidenhair.
Ginkgo gets its common name, so it's a maidenhead ginkgo biloba. Gets its common name, maidenhair tree, from the similarity of its bilobed leaves to the fronds of the maidenhair fern. God, that's a lot of tongue-twisting words. That's the maidenhair. Maidenhair. It dates back to the Jurassic period, apparently.
Oh. Next up is the sandbox.
This evergreen tree, reaching heights of over 50 meters, is native to the tropical regions of North and South America. It is also called the monkey no climb because of the razor-sharp spines that cover it. So the monkey no climb that tree. The sandbox.
The sandbox. Next up is dragon's blood.
Oh, I do like that one. Dragon's blood. Native to the islands of Socotra and Yemen, this tree has a crown that resembles an umbrella, brown inside and out. This serves to direct any rainfall or fog condensation in this dry part of the world down to the leaves and branches of the trunk to the roots. All right, so it kind of collects its own water. Very clever. Dragon's blood.
Dragon's blood. I could probably do one of these in my own home.
What, to get some water.
It would be handy for condensation in the winter.
All right. It can feed itself. You don't have to water it.
And then the final one of this round is the walking palm.
A walking palm. Some believe that this 25-meter tall tree, which is native to the tropical rainforests of South and Central America, can slowly move from shade to sunlight by growing stilt roots in the direction that it wants to travel. Wow. So it's an actual walking tree.
It's weird. So anyway, that's the last one of this round. So can we have a
Recap.
pause there? But thank you. First up was the spruce tree.
Yep.
Then we had the maidenhair.
Yeah. And loads of really complicated words to say.
Then we had the sandbox.
And the monkey no climb tree, because it has sharp bits on the bark.
Then we had dragon's blood.
Can create its own water from condensation.
And then finally, the walking palm.
Some believe it can actually walk.
So now moving on to round 7.
Yep, I think so.
I got that right. 7. And the first one of this round is the banyan.
Banyan tree. Also known as the Moreton Bay fig, this large, fast-growing evergreen tree is native to eastern Australia. They are called strangler figs, as once the seed germinates in the canopy of the host tree, it sends roots down to the ground and plants itself. Oh, interesting. The banyan tree.
Next up is the madrone tree.
The madrone tree. This medium-sized evergreen tree grows up to 25 meters tall. With a wide spreading crown, its smooth orange-red bark peels away in thin sheets to reveal new green bark as it matures. The madrone tree. Madrone.
The madrone. Next up is the paperbark.
The paperbark. Growing to a height of 15 meters, this small to medium-sized tree is native to Australia. Produces flowers in spikes on the ends of its branches. Each spike has up to 18 groups of cream-coloured flowers. The paperbark.
The paperbark. Next up is the bottle.
A bottle tree. Living up to its name, the bottle tree has an unusual succulent trunk in the shape of a bottle, which acts as a water store. This enables it to grow in hot, dry environments of Angola, Botswana, and Namibia. The bottle tree.
The bottle tree. And now the final one of this round is the sycamore.
The sycamore. Well known for the gap in the Cumbrian kind of part of the Roman wall where there is no longer a sycamore tree. It got cut down, but it has started to sprout. So they are sprouting it this year. So it may grow back, or it will grow back rather. Where are we at? Sycamore tree. This is a large, deciduous, broad-leaved tree native to Central Europe and reaching 35 meters in height, and has a billowing crown. The sycamore tree. And you can make little helicopters out of the seeds.
I know. So that's the end of this round. So can we have a
Recap, cap.
first up was the banyan.
Is that the one that the fruit grows roots to the ground and creates its own tree?
That's true. Then we had the madrone.
Oh. Had red bark that peels away for new green bark.
Then we had the paperbark,
which peels off like paper in its bark.
Then we had the bottle.
Called the bottle tree because it holds water basically in its trunk.
And then finally, the sycamore,
which has helicopter seeds.
So now moving on to round
8.
Round 8. And the first one this round is the Kapok.
The kapok stands over 70 meters tall and is native to Central America and northern South America. Huge buttress roots at the base of the trunk help it stand up in the forests. The tree provides a source of kapok, a cotton-like water-resistant fibre. There you go. The kapok tree.
The Kapok. Next up is probably the most fascinating tree of the lot. The rainbow eucalyptus.
Rainbow eucalyptus tree.
Eucalyptus.
This evergreen tree is one of only 4 species of eucalyptus out of around 800 that are not native to Australia. It is found in the Philippines, Indonesia and Papua New Guinea, where it quickly reaches heights of up to 75 meters. Wow. The rainbow eucalyptus. So I guess if it doesn't grow in Australia, then koalas won't be eating it.
Plus, like the rainbow bark itself,
It's cool, isn't it?
it's really cool. Next up is the monkey puzzle.
The monkey puzzle tree is an iconic conifer that grows up to 30 meters tall on mountains in Argentina and Chile, of which it is the national tree. So it's a national tree, often known as a living fossil because of its age. So the monkey puzzle tree, a living fossil.
Next up is the Bois dentale.
The Bois dentale. This is one of the world's 100 most threatened species, with fewer than 10 individual trees known to exist in the cloud forest in a single hilltop of Mauritius. The tree goes up to 6 meters. Oh, less than 10 individual trees. Wow.
The Bois dentale. And the last one of this round is the Nordman fir.
Northern fir. Northern fir. This is a stately evergreen conifer with a straight trunk and a pyramid-shaped crown from the mountains of Turkey and the Caucasus. It reaches heights of 60 meters and has tired branches that sweep downwards, so like saggy branches. The Northern fir.
So that's the end of this round. So can we have a
Recap, cap.
first up was the Kapok.
Yep. Yeah, made some sort of cotton material, didn't it, that one? Kapok.
Then we had the rainbow eucalyptus.
One of 4 eucalyptus trees that don't grow in Australia.
Then we had the monkey puzzle.
Also known as a fossil tree.
Then we had the Bois dentale.
Less than 10 in the world exist.
And then finally, the Nordman fir.
Yeah, quite a common tree.
So now
Grows in
moving
the
on.
mountains of Turkey.
Moving on to round 9. And the first one is the Saucer magnolia.
Saucer magnolia. Magnolia, an ancient genus of the tree with over 200 different species, is named after the botanist Perry Magnol. This hybrid, first bred in Eaton Salange Bobbin in 1820, is one of the most popular ornamental magnolias in parks and gardens of Britain and North America. The Saucer magnolia. We got given one of them trees off B&Q this year. We'll get them planted.
Oh.
A magnolia tree.
Next up is the giant redwood.
This is the one I started reading before, wasn't it? By accident. The largest tree in the world by volume is the giant redwood, called General Sherman, 84 meters tall, with a trunk circumference of 31 meters. Get around level is said to be 3,200 years old. That's an old tree. A giant redwood. 31 meter circumference. That's huge.
Next up is the sassafras.
Sassafras. Native to eastern North America, this medium-sized deciduous tree grows in thickets from root suckers and has three different and interesting leaf shapes. So that's 3 different shapes of leaf. That's just greedy.
The sassafras.
Sassafras. Quite a fun word to say, isn't it? Sassafras.
Next up is the yew tree.
This tall to medium-sized conifer is native across Europe and the British Isles. It grows up to 20 meters tall with a spreading crown and a single or several trunks covered in flaking reddish-brown bark. The yew tree.
The yew tree. And then the final one of this round is the quiver.
The quiver tree.
The quiver.
This is a tree, aloe from South America and Nambia, growing 9 meters tall, with a distinctive forked branches, with the forked branching pattern, hence the species name meaning cutting two in Greek. It's the cutting true tree, a quiver.
So that's the end of this round. So can we have a
Recap, cap.
First up was the Saucer magnolia.
Which we have one to plant.
Then we had the giant redwood.
Yeah, the tallest one was, say, 3,500 years old or 2,500 years old.
Then we had the sassafras.
The greedy tree with 3 leaf types.
Then we had the yew.
Can't remember the facts on the yew tree.
And then finally, the quiver.
The quiver, or the splitting two tree.
So now moving on to round 10. The first one in this round is the olive tree.
Olive tree. The olive tree is an evergreen tree with silvery green leaves, closely related to the ash tree. It can live to be over 1,000 years old. It grows naturally in the Mediterranean and is cultivated commercially for its fruit. The olives. You tired there, Mark?
Sorry. No, I'm not tired. They're dead. Next up is the uppers.
Upas tree. Where are you at? The upas tree. Related to the mulberry and fig trees, the upas tree is a tall deciduous tree that grows up to 40 meters tall in the tropical Asian and African rainforests. The upas tree.
Next up is the larch tree.
Larch tree. This large, fast-growing deciduous conifer reaches 30 meters. With a symmetrical conical crown when young, it is native to the mountains of Central Europe. The soft pale green needles produced in clusters along the stems turn golden yellow in the autumn. The larch tree.
Next up is the rowan.
The rowan tree. They are pretty trees, rowans. Also known as the mountain ash. It has a wide natural distribution across Europe and the British Isles. It is a medium-sized deciduous tree or large shrub in the rose family with a smooth grey bark. The rowan.
The rowan. And then final one of this round is the cocoa de mer.
Coco de mer. This palm tree, epidemic and endemic to the Seychelles, can live up to 800 years and grows up to 30 meters tall. It has fan-shaped leaves so large that only a few are needed to thatch a house. Well, Coco de Mar.
And that's the last one of this round. So can we have a
Recap.
first up was the olive tree.
Grown for olives, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Then we had the upas tree.
Deepest tree. Was very tall, I believe.
Then we had the larch tree.
Its pines turn yellow in the autumn.
Then we had the rowan.
Yeah. Part of the rose family, I think it said.
And then finally, the cocoa
Coco de Mer.
de mer.
Grows in the Seychelles and can live up to 800 years.
So now moving on to round 11. And the first one is the walnut.
A walnut tree. Often known as the English walnut, this tree is not native to the British Isles, but has a wide natural range from the Balkans to China. It is a deciduous tree up to 30 meters tall with a broad spreading crown. The walnut tree. I do like a walnut.
Yeah, I do like walnut as well. Next up is the quaking aspen.
The quaking aspen. Quaking aspens, known as quakies, are native to the cooler regions of North America, where they are the most widely distributed tree. It is the state tree of Utah. There you go, the quaking aspen, state tree of Utah.
Next up is very popular in spring,
Okay.
the Yoshino cherry.
Yoshino cherry. This is a hybrid cherry tree from Japan, introduced to gardens in Europe and North America in 1902. It makes a beautiful ornamental tree of up to 12 meters and is now the most widely planted flowering cherry around the world. The Yoshino cherry.
I do love the cherry blossoms. Next up is the hazel tree.
Oh, I like a hazelnut. Found in the woodlands across Europe and Western Asia, as well as the British Isles, hazel is a small deciduous tree or large shrub reaching 8 meters. The flowers produced in early spring before the leaves are monoecious. With both sexes found on the same tree, the female flowers are bright red and very small, while the male are pale and yellow cartings. The fruit is an edible hazelnut or cobnut, which is rich in protein, vitamin E, and unsaturated fats. The hazelnut, cobnut, or filbert nut.
And now the final one in this round is the London playng.
London playng. This deciduous tree, which grows up to 40 meters tall, is a popular hybrid of the ornamental plane and the North American sycamore, one of the most planted trees in the cities because of its tolerance to atmospheric pollution. The London playng.
So that's the end of this round. So can we have a
Recap, cap.
First up was the walnut.
Very tasty.
Then we had the quaking aspen.
Yeah.
Then we had the Yoshino cherry.
The most popular planted cherry tree around the world.
Then we had the hazel.
Gives you cobnuts and filbert nuts and hazelnuts.
And then finally, the London playng.
Which is has a strong resistance to pollution.
So now moving on to round 12.
Oh, ooh.
I believe this is the penultimate round.
Yeah. You usually get 13.
And the first one is the winch elm.
The wych elm. When fully mature, the wych elm can grow up to 30 meters. With a broad spreading crown, it is deciduous, with a rough to the touch alternate leaves that appear in spring after the tree is flowered. The wych elm.
The wych elm. Next up is the orange tree.
An orange tree. The orange tree that we are used to eating the fruit from is also known as a sweet orange and is a hybrid of the pomelo and the mandarin, sorry. It originates from Asia and today is the most widely cultivated fruit tree in the world, with an estimated 79 million tons of oranges grown commercially each year, with many tropical and subtropical countries. Wow.
Next up is the beech tree.
Beachy tree. The beech is said to be queen of the British trees. Majestic yet graceful, it is a large deciduous tree growing to heights of 45 metres. The beech tree. The queen of British trees.
Next up is the oak tree.
We've definitely got a few of them at Heathlands. Although it is often known as an English oak, this large, venerable tree can be found growing naturally across most of Europe and Caucasus. It is easily recognised by its round, lobed leaves and acorns. The oak tree.
And then the final one is the cypress.
Living as long as 1,000 years, this upright evergreen conifer can grow up to 40 metres tall. With a dense, narrow, pencil-shaped crown, the needle-like leaves grow in sprays, with round green-brown cones and houses small seeds dispersed in summer. The cypress tree.
So that's the end of this round. So can we have a
Recap, cap.
first up was the witch elm.
The witchy elm.
We had the orange tree.
Was it the most popular fruit harvested plant tree?
Then we had the beech tree.
Yeah, you did. Is it the queen of trees, was it called?
Then we had the oak tree.
With its lobed-shaped leaves.
And then finally, the cypress tree.
Yeah, grows on hills.
So now moving on to the final round. And first up is the pecan.
The pecan. So people should definitely have some lines by now, and we should have some winners maybe. The pecan, a deciduous broadleaf tree, is native to northern Mexico and the southern United States, and reaches up to 40 meters tall, with a large spreading crown. The pecan tree.
Next up is the whistling thorn.
A whistling thorn. This is a type of acacia, from the Greek ankatha, meaning spine or thorn. Acacias have developed a symbiotic relationship with stinging ants, which feed on the tree's nectar and live in its hollows. Wow. The whistling thorn lives with ants.
Next up is the cowrie.
Cowrie? Not sure how you pronounce that one.
No.
Cowrie. Found growing naturally in ancient forests in the northern part of New Zealand. This is one of the most ancient conifers in the world, and have been growing during the Jurassic period between 1900 and 135 million years ago. It is the largest tree by volume in New Zealand. The cowrie.
The cowrie. And now the final tree of this bingo is the jacaranda.
So everyone should definitely have house after this one. This is one of the most spectacular, flamboyant, deciduous flowering subtropical trees native to South America. When it grows to a height of 20 meters, it is widely planted as an urban tree in frost-free countries. The jacaranda.
The jacaranda. So, for one last time, can we have a...
Recap, cap.
First up, we had the pecan.
Lovely nuts.
Then we had the whistling fawn.
That's why the ants live inside it. There's a symbiotic relationship with them.
Then we had the karai.
Karai tree.
And then finally, the jacaranda.
Yeah, popularly planted around the world in hot countries. So that endeth the bingo. So if you haven't got a full house by now, we've made a mistake somewhere. So go back through the video and see where it was. We will be back in 2 weeks' time with another bingo for you. So how do you think we've done time-wise, Mark?
We've...
Oh, cheeky looking at your watch. We done well. Less than 60 minutes it took us to do the whole thing, which is good. One of our better ones. So with that being said, that's all for now, everyone.
Yep. See you next time.
Bye-bye.